Hello everyone, my name is Mary Hernandez, but I go by Esther, and I would like to do this video to give my personal testimony of The Shack by William P. Young. Great book. It's out as a major motion picture right now. It's a personal story about that and how it helped me and also how it helped this wonderful family that I know. This video is due by personal request, Kimberly. I'm doing it for you because I love you and because I love God. And I think that this book and this movie is going to change a lot of lives. First of all, the way it changed my life is because I grew up in a small town. I'm a preacher's kid and grew up in a small Pentecostal setting. And I'm grateful for my upbringing because I was introduced to God, to stories of the Bible, things that are priceless. I mean, all of that is instilled in me till this very day. But there was also a lot of religious things that I picked up along the way that affected me. Just, it could be a little bit of fire, brimstone, atmosphere, or you were going to go to hell for a million different things. And I knew of the love of God, but I also was really, really afraid of God. I believed in His Word. I believed in the stories I read, but I was still afraid of God. Pretty much up until I was 30 years of age. I felt like He literally was this white-bearded old man who was ready to just be disappointed in me because I wasn't perfect. And I know for some people, they know about God's love, and they grew up knowing the grace of God and His love, and I'm very happy for you, but there is a lot of us who it wasn't that easy, and we just struggled with lots of feelings of guilt and conviction. And either way, I was like that for a long time until I read The Shack. I read it literally in one night, and I was transformed. I mean, just transformed. Tears and snot all over the place. I could not believe in the simplicity of God and how much He loved me and how He wasn't disappointed in me and that He wasn't ready to doom me. It's just, you got to read the book or go watch the movie. Either way, I was healed instantly from that moment on. I'm talking probably year 2010. I started having a relationship with God and I actually started talking to Him. I started looking forward to talking to Him. And I just enjoyed my new freedom. I really did. And I blossomed. I blossomed immediately after reading this book. And here we go. Sorry. Okay, a year passed by, and I'm at work. I'm a dental hygienist, and I had this wonderful coworker named Kim, and she's just beautiful, a beautiful human being, inside and out, just giving and forgiving and just chill. She's just chill, and she would assist me with some of the patients. And I witnessed to a lot of my patients. I would talk to people about God, and I would just encourage people. And after so many times of doing that, one day Kim looked at me and she said, "Why are you always talking about Jesus? Who is He really?" And I want to tell you that I really felt a supernatural thing happen to me. I felt literally like God grab a hold of me and say, "She's not kidding. She doesn't know me. and you better be very careful how you introduce me. Because when she said that, my normal reaction was like, ha! How could you not know who he is? Or I won't, that was going to be my reaction, but I was prevented immediately from doing that. So whenever we had time, some breaks here and there, I just literally started from Genesis. We talked about Noah, we talked about Moses, we talked about Daniel and the lion's den, and just little by little just introduced her to God. And the weeks passed on, and one day we're in the New Testament, and I'm explaining Christ and how he was sent as a gift to us. And that the only requirement is for us to believe, just believe. That believe that he came and that he died for us and that he wants to be with us and have a relationship with us. I'll never forget this one day that I was telling her about the Lord, about Jesus specifically, and she was listening like this, and she said, I believe. I mean, I'll never forget that moment. It's just ingrained in me. It was just a beautiful moment because she believed. It was just unbelievable. Either way, I asked her to tell me her upbringing. Did you ever go to Christmas, church services? Did you ever go to an Easter service? Did you ever go to a Bible service or study or anything with your parents? I knew her parents were divorced and that she was raised primarily by her father, David. And she told me no, they never did any of that. They just hung out at home, and she told me many wonderful stories of her father, David, and just how great of a job he did raising her and her sister, and little songs he'd sing, when supper and dinner was ready. And I just loved hearing all these sweet stories about her dad. I could tell she loved him dearly. And I said, well, how did he grow up? I'm just trying to understand how it is that you just didn't know anything about the church or about God or the Bible or anything like that. She said, well, my dad actually grew up in Massachusetts, and he grew up in a Catholic school. His whole life he went to a private school. And immediately I felt like God was telling me he too received like this religious overbearing thing over him, just like you did when you were growing up. And I want you to take this book, The Shack, to Kim's dad, and I want him to read it just like you did. So I said, Kim, so tell me something about your dad. When would he ever talk about God? Would he ever mention God? He was like, well, if he ever scanned television and there was preachers on TV, he immediately would just go on a cursing rampage about how he couldn't stand religion and this and that. And I knew he did that because something in his past turned him off, kind of the way I was turned off in a way. And so I said, Kim, I have this wonderful book. He's got to read it. And she had told me her dad loves to read books. She said, I'll take that book to him, but I'm telling you right now, if he sees anything that pertains to God or about church or religion in this book, he's not going to read it. I don't care, Kim. Take it to your dad. I want him to read this book. So she took it, and I'll never forget this day. Saturday morning, I'm outside swinging my little girl, and I get a phone call from Kim. And she's kind of giggling, and she says, I told you he wasn't going to read the book. I was like, oh my gosh. Why is he not going to read it? Because he skimmed through it, and it's about God, and he's not interested. Another supernatural event happened. Sorry about that. Ooh, hope they're okay. I was literally gripped by the Spirit of God again, in my tummy area, gripped in such a way where these words were literally propelled out of me. And the words that came out of me to Kim were, "Tell your father I will pay him $300 if he reads this book." I couldn't even believe what I was saying, because as I was saying it, I was in disbelief. I was thinking about my accounts. I was thinking about my husband, or what people were going to think for doing such a thing. But I said it. It just came out. It just literally came out. And she said, "Yeah, right." I said, "I'm not kidding. Tell him right now that I'll pay him $300. And side note, the only reason I'm giving the amount is because I know there's lots of believers out there that you may have heard to do something, and I just want to encourage you to do it. It doesn't matter if it's $20, $300, $10,000. Just, I'm saying it as an encouragement and just to glorify God. Okay, so I said it, and she was like, "Okay." And at that time, the family, I knew he was struggling. He had just lost his job some time before. I could hear Kim on the phone. She says, "Dad, she's not kidding. She says she'll pay you $300 if you read this book." And I can still hear his voice. I heard him loud and clear say, "Hell, I'll read anything for $300. I'll never forget that. It was so awesome. It was so awesome. So he read the book, and I think that was Saturday. I had that book back by Monday or Tuesday. "What did he say?" I asked Kim. "What did he say? What did he say?" And she's like, "He said, interesting. Thank you very much." And I was like, "Oh, man. Nothing else?" She's like, "No, but he read it." I said, "Okay." Okay, and I was obedient, of course, to God. I didn't wait for him to finish the book. I put the $300 cash in an envelope, and I took it to Kim Monday and to give to her father. And maybe a year later, Kim came to work with this big smile on her face. She said, "Hey, Dad and I talked about God this weekend." And I said, "What? What did he say? What did he say?" She said, "He just said, he always asks about you. How's that crazy girl who gives $300 away just to read a book?" And I told him, "You're fine." He said, "You know what, Kim? I have to admit that book brought me closer to God." And maybe a week or two after David made that statement, he died instantly and from a stroke, heart attack. And he went, and I know with all my heart, to be with the Lord. I know he did. And what touched me about this testimony and this story concerning the shack is that God knew that David was not interested in him or interested in the church or anything like that. But he still longed for David and wanted him back. And he found a way. He found a way to get into his home. Yes, it was through me, but I was willing. I've always told God, "I'm willing to do something for you. Use me. I'll do it, And he found a way to get into David's home and reach his heart through this book right here. And it doesn't matter that David never stepped one foot inside a church. It doesn't matter that he never put money in an offering plate. It doesn't matter that he didn't read the Bible through and through. I believe that David made peace with God, and that he believed in God, and he believed in Christ, and I believe he is with him. And that's my shack testimony, my shack story. I love that story. I tell it all the time, and I just want to encourage you people out there as well, If you ever hear that crazy thing, you just don't even have a clue how you could be helping out an individual or a family. And I say family because Kim's older sister read the book and had made peace and found a connection with her father that way. And my sweet friend Kim, she's getting baptized this Sunday. And I just want to tell you, Kim, I'm really proud of you. I really, really am. And this is for you, my love. I love you dearly. I love all you guys out there as well. And if you're confused about God, read The Shack or go watch the movie. It'll change your life. All right? Blessings to you all, and good night.